Hello, my name is Olivier Clerc. I'm a Franco-Swiss author. I have published 22 books to this day with translations in 17 different languages in the world. Out of these 22 books, 4 of them are children books, and 3 of them are going to be released in Chinese very soon. Now, this is a bit of a funny story because for 20 years I've said that I was not a children author. And the truth is, among the books, I'm not only an author, I was also a publisher for many years. And among the books that I published the founding book of Nonviolent Communication, NVC, written by Marshall Rosenberg. I was lucky to buy the French rights of this book in 1997 and then to follow a 1-week training with Marshall in Switzerland to discover nonviolent communication and also to discover the man, Marshall himself, behind the book. And a couple of years later, I thought, is it possible to share at least some elements of nonviolent communication with small children? My eldest son at the time was just 4 years old, and he was in a Montessori school. And so my idea was to write a short story. And then I went to the school, and with the agreement of the teachers, I told the story to the kids. There were 14 of them. And then they made drawings from this story of mine. And then we made photocopies of the little story with their drawings included in them. I think I still have a copy of that. Just a minute. Yes, here it is. That is my original story with drawings made by children. And that was the end of it. And 18 years later, my sister-in-law discovered that little booklet in my bookshelf. And then she told me, you have to publish this. She's a teacher for small children in Switzerland. And she told me, you don't realize we have no books, we have nothing to share these precious elements with small children. And so she insisted so loudly that I did send this story to 5 French publishers specialized in children books. And immediately I had a positive reply from one of the most famous one. The name is Père Castor. It maybe won't mean much to you, but it's part of the this old publishing house is part of a UNESCO, United Nations for children, the world patrimony, and so it was released in 2018 or 19. I'm not sure now, but it immediately became a best-selling title because a whole generation had been raised now with nonviolent communication. So a whole generation of parents and grandparents wanted to share that with their children and grandchildren. So the funny thing is, if I had tried to get that book published back in the year 2000, when it was actually written, I'm not sure it would have triggered much interest. But 19 years later, it had huge success. To the point where the foreign rights have been already sold to 4 or 5 countries, and others are interested too. So I find it fantastic that what these books have in common, besides the little rabbit, who is the hero of these stories, is that they're all about how to have better relationships with each other. Because I think that's one of the most important things in life, isn't it? What's the use of having a huge salary, a big house and everything, if our relationships with our partner, with our wife, husband, with our children, with our neighbors, with our colleagues at work are no good? I think if you ask someone at the end of his or her life what was the most important thing for most of them, it will be the quality of their relationships. And this is something that is not yet taught in most schools in the world. And I think that's the success of nonviolent communication, among other methods, other approaches, is due to the fact that it does really help parents, children, teachers, or people at the workplace to have a much better quality of relationships with each other and also with themselves, because it's important to have a good relationship with oneself too. So again, I'm very touched, very moved, very happy to know that these little books will be read by Chinese children today. And who knows, I would love to hear from some of you readers. For instance, the first translation was in Turkey. So now I'm getting emails or messages from parents, from school teachers, from grandparents in Turkey who are writing a small word. And it's always a pleasure for me to know that these little books are of use, are of help, and are bringing happiness to my readers, however young or old they are. So I wish you all the best with these 3 books that are to be released very soon now in Chinese.